So Nate came in, his mom asked me a question similar to what I get asked all the time. Can upper cervical care help with autism? That was the question. And I said, instead of, yes, absolutely it can help, which is a true statement, I said, well, autism is a neurological condition. We work with the nervous system. Do you think we should check his nervous system? So he came in when he was 12. He was doing that crab walk on the floor when he came in. He wouldn't stand up, he wouldn't walk, he wouldn't look you in the eye. He would just crawl backwards down the hallway. And he, after about 6 weeks of starting care, his youth group leader started noticing and asked his parents, hey, what are you guys doing different? Like Nate is responding very differently than he has in the past. He was able to start taking piano lessons and do recitals. He was able, I think he started martial arts. There were things that he was never able to participate in that a month to 2 months after starting care, he was able to start doing. It was so powerful. His mom ended up writing a book about it. You know, she had changed his diet. She had pulled wheat and soy and dairy and food dyes and all this stuff. And I'm sure those all had an effect, but it wasn't until we took the pressure off his brainstem that he was really able to start functioning well. He went through, graduated high school, went to college, like he's working in the airline industry now. Really, really remarkable changes that clearly came from getting the pressure off his brainstem. We have a young lady named Shayna who had something called a Chiari malformation, where part of the brain was actually coming down out of the skull. And so she was having temperature regulation issues, and at 7 years old, she went in, they did brain surgery on her, and when she woke up from the surgery, she had a horrible headache. And they said, well, it's part of the surgery, you'll do better, you know, it'll go away. Well, she had a migraine headache for 10 years. It wasn't a headache that she'd have for a few days and it would go away and then come back and go. It never went away. She had dropped out of high school. She had gone all these places. She lived 2.5 hours away from our office, and somehow, I honestly don't know how, her mom heard she needed to bring her into our office. So she came in. I was new in practice, so back then I could do people's exam, x-rays, analyze it, and get them adjusted on the same visit. I got her adjusted on a Friday, and the top bone in her neck was literally fused to her skull. I remember thinking, I don't even know if I can move this, right? And it's a very gentle adjustment. It feels like having your pulse taken, and so I thought, I don't know if this is going to affect anything. So Monday comes, and I kind of thought about her over the weekend and thought, man, I hope she's okay. And Monday, her mom called, and our front desk person came back and got me, which is pretty unusual, right? Because I'll take phone calls. I'll call people back later. She said, no, I really think you need to take this call. And I thought something was really wrong. So I pick up the phone, and it was Shayna's mom, Jennifer, and she was hysterically sobbing on the phone. And I thought, man, I don't know what happened here. This isn't good. And she could hardly speak. She was just that gasping crying that she was doing. And she said to me, Shayna hasn't had a headache in 3 days. And that was the beginning of this journey for them. That they had tried everything. They had tried hypnotherapy. They had done drugs. They had done just all these things all over the place. And she was able to finish high school with her class. She went to Michigan State. I did try to talk her out of that, but she went anyway. And she went to chiropractic school, and she's a chiropractor in California today. Dr. B.J. Palmer said, you never know how far-reaching something you may think, say, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. And I don't know how many people she takes care of, but I know that she's making a difference in a lot of people's lives. And I don't know if she would be alive today if it weren't for the care. I don't know if I would be alive today if it weren't for the care, with the experience I've had. So it's really cool.